Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Sunkissed, Vampire the Masquerade's 5th edition TTRPG show. This episode is going to be slightly different in that it is extra, and it is also single one-on-one scenes with me, the storyteller, GM, and one other player, recording their scenes not live. So you're going to see snapshots of scenes from each of the different players and their characters, and just doing things that we haven't managed to get round to in the main episodes in the main game, and hopefully fleshing out their characters a little bit, doing extra scenes that are difficult to get to. This is something that we're planning to do on a regular basis. Because of the nature of Sunkissed, it can actually be quite difficult to get everything done. I think our average number of scenes per episode of the regular show of Sunkissed is about 3. So yeah, it can be difficult to get to everything that the players want to get to. So sit in. Look forward to 4 different scenes. We planned on making them 20 to 30 minutes long. They all ended up being around 40 to 50 minutes long. So I hope you enjoy them, and this is about as long as a regular episode of Sunkissed. So enjoy. Cassius, you are walking down the main street in Weirgate. You have seen a flyer a little while ago for a performance of A Question of Sex by Arnold Bennett. It's going to be performed in a local theatre. It's a play. And it's a comedy, but there are some kind of I think the best way to say it is the target audience is like 50 to 60 plus year olds. It is a contemporary piece. It's basically the plot synopsis is a baby's been born to George Gower, but an uncle of his has promised a significant amount of money if it was a specific sex, a boy. When George tries to cover up the true sex, he loses out. A funny twist of fate brings financial harmony to all. And it's one you haven't seen before, and it's because you've been away, and since you got back it's been very busy. When you found a moment to go somewhere and maybe indulge in some actual class, and not the Tess style of class, which debatable for some people.
Yeah, arguable.
Yeah,
that even exists on his radar. Yeah.
And of course the other friends that you've made recently, not so much. With the book hole currently falling in like smack dab in the center of Kale Katen's territory, you're gonna have to figure out a way to get access to it, or just risk it if you want to go there, but for now you're being cautious. However, this is I cannot remember the name of it. Give me a moment, and I will pull it up. So, you are walking the Rousing Speechery. There we go. Is the name of the theatre. It's a very tall, thin building, and you're just walking up on it now. It is on the main road, so it's kind of just out of the territories. The roads mostly aren't claimed. The buildings, maybe. It's a bit iffy. Usually, from what you can tell so far with the front and the old guard, the roads kind of mark a neutral zone, and the buildings right on the roadside are kind of like very often public buildings, so you're probably okay going in there. It is in the area of Calig and Talia's territory, but
He's willing to risk it.
hmm,
Of all the people to piss off, obviously, Calig and Talia are not ideal, but he has nothing going with them.
they're also probably the safest to piss off because they're at each other's throats and they're a fair they're a fair distance from your territories. So
Yes. The likelihood that he'll end up in a tricky situation is limited.
yeah.
Calculated risk.
So you get to the front of the theatre. There's not many people. There's no queue or anything. There is someone just on the inside. There's like kind of a coat rack and someone at the reception. It's not a. Honestly, it looks a bit more like a club. You know how clubs have like the side like desk that you walk in and you just pay and they take your
the little
coat.
booth. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to what you'd expect from a theatre, which would be you walk in, it's very grandiose, and there's like a proper ticket seller and all that type of thing.
Yeah, it's very small theatre style.
Very small, very very thin as well. Not as much space as there would usually be in the reception area, for example. And I'm assuming you'd like to go in.
Yeah, Cass checks for a person at the desk.
There is a young lady there in kind of an usher's style suit.
Yeah. He just goes over and is like, "Hi, I haven't bought a ticket, so I'm hoping that it's okay if I just get one now and then during the performance."
Of course, sir. Would you like booth or kind of up in the rafter in the balcony or down in the
You're
front?
gonna have to tell me the difference between the two cost-wise, I'm afraid.
It's not much more on the balcony, but it's more private. Usually only one or two other people.
Yeah, then balcony it is. Cheers.
Of course. She hands you your ticket, and you can follow like there's in movie theaters you have like usually you have like the wall and you can go in like either sides and then you kind of walk around to the doors. It has that but with stairs that go up, and the up is to the balcony, and then round the sides is kind of to the main floor.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you'd like to make your way to the balcony?
Yeah, he takes a look around as he sits down. How many other people are in the balcony? How many other people are in the pit?
So, this is quite an old building, and it seems like this may have been a theatre like a while ago, because it's got those like those little bulgy balcony bits. So like there's like a little bulge out, and then there's kind of curtains on each side.
So
and,
it's like a classic Victorian theatre with the arch over the stage.
yeah, and then the pit, as it were, where the regular seats are very much like just right in front of the stage, and just kind of like almost like a pit. Like there's just a whole load of seats down there. There aren't many people in, and the play is just about to get started.
Yeah, okay, he sits right down and waits.
There are a couple of people in the seats around you and on the other side. There's a kind of severe man very close to the front, with kind of like a bow tie and like a hunting jacket type looking thing. They're actually in your booth. There are two other people. There's a young lady and there's a like kind of middle-aged looking man. And they're just kind of watching, not even really acknowledging each other, and they don't acknowledge you when you sit down. This does seem to be very a very niche. Like the people who come here probably come here a fair amount.
They're regulars.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Clock their faces. Don't try to invade their clear walls that they've put up to like avoid making eye contact. But he tries to recognize their faces and then just sits down and ignores them unless they do something.
Yeah. So the play starts, and the cast is reasonably decent. The majority of them seem to, like, your impression from what you can see of them, their acting, their performance is enthusiastic and enjoying themselves, but not that serious. Except for the character of Francis. Francis is Uncle Francis. He is the one who offers the money if it's a boy.
Right.
And he's a slightly older gentleman, got a very good presence. He's got a very good bearing, and you can tell like he takes acting seriously. He's probably one of those guys who never even bothered trying to get into film or TV shows or anything like that because it's kind of beneath him. You know, it's
bit of a snobby theatre.
Yeah. But he's got good presence and he's got good command. Like he's the only one who really stands out. And if you look on the kind of leaflet, you know, it says all of the actors and all of the parts and, you know, kind of brief synopsis that we went through earlier. His name is John Barker, and it says, you know, it probably doesn't say writer. I don't, you know, even though he probably adjusted a few bits to his own liking in the story, you know, it probably says like owner, actor, you know, but he probably wouldn't put on airs and be like, I'm a writer, I wrote this because I changed a couple of lines, you know. He has a bit too much respect for the craft, but it definitely says, you know, producer and all that type of thing.
He's a common stereotype in theatre.
Yes. And currently, like in the first act and moving on into second, the story's all about a man who is having a child, and when like a little bit before the child was born, the character played by John Barker, the Uncle Francis, kind of very rich, very well-to-do, promises George that he can have like 10,000, I believe it's pounds, but it might be dollars. Let's say for the sake of it, it's dollars. He can have $10,000 if it's a boy. And there's a lot of like, obviously it turns out to be a girl, and George lies to his uncle. He gets his sister to lie to his uncle. He tries to get everyone to lie to his uncle, you know. And there's a lot of farce. There's some very good like one-liners and you know, body comedy where like they're trying to like get a boy for a day when the uncle comes around, and they're like running the girl around the house like as he's moving around the house, and you know, obviously she starts to cry. Very obviously not great props. So the girl is just like the baby.
It's just a doll.
And like they only have one doll for the boy and the girl. So the girl, when they're running around with her, is literally just just wrapped up blanket.
Oh, yeah, a bundle of towels.
Yeah. Like and the production is the production value isn't that amazing. The baby crying is the same track played over and over again, like out of a speaker, and that type of thing. And there are a few other problems. Like you've been to a few theaters. Very often they have, speakers in the back so that you can hear the voices properly and that type of thing. But people are laughing. People are enjoying it. The middle-aged gentleman, he does get up and leave. The one in your booth, he does get up and leave, like, fairly early through the first act. He doesn't look very satisfied.
Oh, is he... Do I recognize a moment when he starts to, like, change his attitude?
It's the babies. The lack of goals and just the bad production.
He's surprised that a tiny theater on the edge of a city is not equipped.
People, they're just like, I expect better than this, so whatever reason.
Big fan of CG then.
Yeah. And then it gets to the intermission. There's a break, and everyone can head out to the foyer, although there isn't really a foyer. Basically, everyone sits about. Because there's nowhere to go.
Okay, yeah. Is there a bar at this place?
No.
Okay, it's small.
It's one of it's one of those places which is like, now for an intermission, because we always have intermissions, so everything can get prepared and all that type of thing. But they just assume that people are just gonna stay, even though there's nothing to do in the theater during the intermission.
Fair enough. Okay.
And the younger lady kind of turns to you and says, "What do you think?"
I like it. So far.
It's a little quaint, but
I've not been to the theater in a very long time, so it's nice to be back in one.
yes, and not everyone is acting their hearts out, but
I honestly don't mind. It's not really about the actors, is it?
No. It's about the story and how well it is portrayed.
What do you think of it?
I'm not much one for comedies, but...
No?
No. But I like the themes. Attention, secrets, power. It is compelling.
That not something you get in your day-to-day life?
Sometimes.
Well, I may resonate with some of that as well. It's, sometimes it feels like a farce. I'm glad that they can make someone laugh, because in the real world, it's often less funny.
Yes, it does not do to take power too seriously.
Doesn't do well to take anything too seriously.
True.
He is not going to say anything else to her unless she brings up more conversation. So he's just going to bow his head a little bit. and flip through and read a bit more about the theatre and the actors.
Okay. And she turns back around, towards the stage. The seats are obviously like kind of slightly angled, because otherwise you'd just be staring straight at the other side of the building. And yeah, after a little while, probably like 5 minutes, the show starts up again. And it goes on, and it again, like it's the same thing up until the monologue of Uncle Francis. And that kind of like, you notice there's quite a few people who are paying attention or semi-paying attention, but just kind of casually. And when this monologue starts up, you kind of, it's hard to describe, but you get a feeling of like magnetism, a feeling of kind of like, being drawn to your eyes are kind of, you're already looking, but you get that feeling of being drawn to the stage. As Uncle Francis is talking to a lady. And John Barker, this actor playing Uncle Francis, goes into this little monologue. And it goes, I will tell you his object, Mrs. Stanton. As you may possibly have heard, I am an industrious and painstaking person. I work hard and live plainly. And by the exercise of those gifts which heaven has been pleased to grant me, I have accumulated a fortune. Some would call it a large fortune. I merely call it a fortune. I dare say I am worth £100,000. Now you might imagine that possessing this and a clear conscience, I am happy. But there is another darker side to the picture, which I am endeavouring to paint, Mrs. Stanton. I am cursed. Continually cursed, in spite of what George is pleased to consider my advanced age, with an impulse. The impulse of unrestrained generosity. Acting under this impulse about 6 months ago, when George imparted to me the information that he and Ada... When I say George imparted to me the information, I said, George, if your child is a boy, I will settle 10,000 on him. You see, boys are so helpless. A boy can't marry a rich husband, can't make his own clothes, can't, if the worst comes to worst, go out as a mother's help. That is why I said, if it's a boy, I will settle £10,000 on your child. I was under no obligation to make the offer. I acted more from impulse, the impulse of absurd generosity. And how does George repay me? By lying to me. And, what is worse, getting his sister to lie to me. In order to obtain a paltry £10,000, he is willing to stain his honour with a lie. You, Mrs. Stanton, with characteristic insight and common sense, have at once put your finger on the most despicable act of this painful affair. The lie was useless, futile, silly. And the scene carries on, and you get to the, different reveals and another, like, kind of mix of funny conversation. Like, there's a very, there's a very kind of tongue-in-cheek feel to it all. It's kind of making fun of gender and making fun of, like, traditional, like, views on gender and all this kind of thing. You assume you assume that he's offering money for a boy because he wants a male heir, but it's actually because dudes suck and they're useless, so they need help, whereas women will be fine. but also in a kind of sexist way where it's like women can marry into rich husbands and whatever.
Yeah.
So you know,
Still sexist.
It's still sexist.
Cool motive, still
yeah.
sexist.
Yeah. It's actually very interesting, you know, and the way it's portrayed is very good because the person playing Uncle Francis, like you feel that though he is an actor, may or may not agree with who he's portraying. Like he portrays that kind of like confused sexism and, you know, like, oh, you know, like boys are used to, yeah, it's very good. And ultimately the scene and indeed the play ends.
Okay.
At the end of the play.
Yeah, he turns to the lady next to him, and obviously he's quite tickled by this. So he is going to ask her. Well, first check if she is amused at all.
She's got kind of like a little side smile all the way through. Like whenever you check her, she never bursts out laughing. She never, you know, there's nothing extreme, but it's like mild amusement the entire way.
Okay. In that case, yeah, he turns to her and says, I dare say if this was performed when it was first written, probably quite surprising.
Yes, it takes people a long time to change their entrenched attitudes.
Well, I guess change is necessary.
It is. Although not everyone is happy to see it.
No.
And
what do you think of the actors?
Most of them are middling. There was one scene which I thought was especially compelling.
Oh, which one was that?
The scene with the uncle, who, when he is doing his monologue and he is talking about the lie.
The lie. Yeah. Not sure. I'm not sure I expected to hear that, but the lie is silly, useless.
But at the same time, he did not realize that they did need those monies.
Yep.
So for them, maybe the lie was not so meaningless. And sometimes pride stops us from asking for what we need.
Well, haven't you hit the nail on the head?
Now, if you will excuse me, I should go and drop a little donation. They do have some production issues and they need to keep this place renovated.
Ah. I'm sure it sounds like it's contingent on I'm hiring another male actor.
And she like stands up, buttons her coat, and like walks like past you and then around towards the exit. As John Barker is delivering this kind of, you know, like, if you wish, please do. If you wish to contribute so we can put on better shows, there is a donation box on the exit as you leave. Very much appreciate all of your we very much appreciate all of your continued support and patronage. And it does a little like bow. And you can tell that you can tell that he has kind of staked this place on just him. You know, all of the other actors, they're cheap. They're doing it more for fun, and they're not amazing. So he has to kind of like pull out this intensity and pull out these performances, which is why he gives himself the monologues. Even if he's not the main role, he gives himself the thing that he feels he can do strongest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He Cass goes down to where the donation box is.
Before you go, as she's leaving, the young lady says, "I hope to see you again, Mr. Banks," and swishes out.
Well, that's refreshing. Someone's actually fucking heard of me. Okay, yeah. He goes down to where the donation box is. He puts in his spare cash, and if John Barker's still around, he'll try and get a word in with him.
Okay. With a donation, you can, the lady usher is like, yes, if you'd like, well, as you put the money in, she's like, oh, if you like, it's like an optional thing that she doesn't tell anyone that doesn't donate money. You can go back and have a chat with the cast. They're just, winding down.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. I'll show me the way.
Of course. It's just, and she takes you through the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as you're walking through, there's like floorboards creaking, and it's nothing horrific. It's just very clearly not kept up brilliantly. And she takes you round the back, and it's like a very small area. Like, quite a few of the cast have actually already left. They just do a quick change and then leave. But there's a couple of people there. John Barker's there, smoking a cigar, sitting down, talking to a couple of other people who've come back. One of them is the slightly older man in the hunting jacket, who was there. You assume he contributed something. It does seem like quite a few people contributed as well. So, while it's not a massive draw, he seems to be decent at convincing people to give him money. The ones that do turn up.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I go back, and it's so is it just me and the cast, or is it
there's the dude with the guy with the hunting jacket, the kind of fairly well-to-do looking one on the other side. He was on the other side. A couple of people from the pit are there as well, talking to different members of the cast.
Yeah, sure. So I go basically straight up to John Barker, bravo, just shake his hand.
Thank you.
And I
very kind.
do that.
Would you like to blush of life?
Yes, that's probably a good idea. Oh yeah.
We will say for this instance, seeing as it is a thing, that you are on a lower hunger.
Good.
Because you wouldn't have come to a place with lots of people and that if you were so hungry. So in the moment, it was not the high hunger moment.
Okay, that 2 hunger then, because I failed that rouse.
That would be 2 hunger, yeah.
Good. All right. Yeah, I shake his hand, making sure that I'm using rousing the blood to make me seem more lifelike, which isn't too difficult.
No.
And I just straight up ask him, so you're magnetic. Is that something you can just turn on?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's nice that people notice. Although don't spread it around too much, otherwise I'll stop getting contributions.
Of course.
It's a way of bearing. It's a way of portraying yourself. There's certain body language and certain ways of projecting the voice, and especially if you have the right words, you can command a room. And you see him kind of doing it there, where his voice raises slightly, but doesn't get louder, it just gets more clear, like it carries a bit more. And his bearing is a lot more. And a couple of people, they do kind of like look around at him.
I am honestly quite jealous. I spend a lot of time trying to get people to listen to me, and it doesn't always work. I guess it's easier when you have a stage, but
Yes, it does matter where you attempt to do these things. By the way, you new. I don't believe I've seen you in the audience before.
I have never attended before. No, I'm
Wonderful.
new to the not new to the city. I used to live here, and I've come back recently. Some just work, just trying a few things.
I hope the work keeps you here for a while, and that you come back and visit our humble speechery.
Well, I wish I could say that it was my intention to stay forever. It's not, but it seems like I can't leave now. So,
well, forever never lasts that long anyway.
I guess I'll find out.
Hmm.
Are you? I've had this question in the back of my mind for a little bit.
Yes.
You and this theatre, I understand the play is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But were you trying to get people to help support this place? Or were you trying to get across something through the play? It had its messages, but the one thing that I've seen you do that I am in envy of is the bit after the play. It's the bit where you ask people for something, you ask people for help, and they freely give it.
Yes. Well, the way I see it, I provide a service. And while it is not always fully appreciated, those people who come here, I find, are moved to support that service. So they may come back again and experience the same thing. Now, do I wish that I had a fully booked theatre? Yes. However, I do not want to sully the works as far as that, to debase myself and to debase the works here, because those who support us now would be ignored and those who came after would be unappreciative. So I make small sacrifices for the cause.
Give the people what they want.
I give the people a little bit of what they want. If you give them too much of what they want, they start to take it for granted.
Huh. Well, I do have to ask. What are the sacrifices you made?
Little bit of discomfort. Not hiring the actors I might want. Not being able to pay the actors as much as I should be able to. Production. Anything that people... I find that if you create an illusion that draws people in, they will not worry too much about a few little discrepancies.
There was one guy, I don't know whether he was your regular, didn't seem too happy with the props.
Well, not everyone is a easy convert. I imagine he didn't stay till the monologue.
Hmm.
Sometimes you lose people before you manage to hook them.
That monologue of yours, I could tell in the moment you believed it.
All writing is truth. As long as you read it true, it is true. It doesn't matter what it says. You just have to believe it. And then you can stop believing it, and it's no longer true.
Whoa. I would love to make this one of my regular haunts. When's your next performance?
We're not changing plays for a little while. I have a few thoughts on what we might change to, but if you'd like an email update or flyers, we do send out flyers as well.
I'll take a flyer. Are you You don't know what you're putting on next, right?
No, not yet. We do take suggestions from our most ardent supporters, but no promises, no promises. I have to like it.
I know this guy, and he's a writer. He has been working on something for a really, really long time. And it's not actually a play.
Okay.
But it could be.
You intrigue me.
So if I sent you the script for that, obviously you have to like it, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
How would I do that? Is that something you've been interested in?
Sure, yes. I'm always, especially if it's something new or unique, that's, to get in on the ground floor. If it takes off, woof.
Yeah. Well, I feel like with someone with your, for lack of a better word, presence, it really could take off. How familiar are you with local folklore?
Oh, not at all, really. It's the theatre and plays and scripts. So that's my forte.
Well, if you've ever been and listened to a storyteller, or if you've listened to someone that just really enjoys slightly mystical stories, it has
sort of a Midsummer's Night Dream style.
If Midsummer's Night Dream met The Wicker Man, it's the best way I can describe it.
All
it's
right.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a pleasant tale, but it describes, and he's a really good friend, and we met through reading circles, but so he let me read it. It describes this mystical figure called Gravestone. I think it's a local thing.
Oh.
And I was really, really captivated by this legend. And I think if people heard it, people would come together over it. They'd pick this story apart. They would find things for themselves in it. That's all I've ever really seen him do, is try to try to build things for other people to find themselves in.
I like the idea. Send me the script. Send me the script, laddie.
I will. It's a good story. Gravestone is well, quite close to me personally. I don't want to bore you with the details, but
Bit of a scholar, hey?
I've spent a lot of my life collecting stories. I've spent a lot of my life trying to understand how they interact with the people that tell them and the people that hear them, and I think one really good story is all it would take to change the world.
Yes. Okay.
So, I will send you the script. I'll try and convince him to turn it from prose into a play, but I hope you like it.
I look forward to it. Now, if you must excuse me, the night grows old, and I must away.
Of course. Quick question.
Yes.
How would you feel about wearing a big wolf costume?
Probably not.
Joking. Only partly joking. All right.
And he kind of, says his farewells, nods, and moves off.
Yeah, I think after that, Cass makes small talk with the rest of the cast, sees if the other people who were donating were... He'd join conversations with them, see what they were talking about and what they were interested in.
Nothing too interesting. It's just talking about the play and about the themes and
absolutely,
all that type of thing. But it's starting to get late. You should probably head back. There's a lot going on in the city.
Yep.
So you head out, gather your coat from the coat deck, little nods to the girl, and head off into the night. Mack.
Hey.
You are doing the rounds in Flintbridge, wandering the night. Just, making sure that there's no one encroaching on the territory, and at this point, you never know where a lead is gonna jump in front of you,
True.
Things been maybe not frustrating, but a little slow to pick up in terms of leads and all of the things that you generally look for and pass your time unraveling and figuring out. And it's been quiet. Obviously there's been a lot of there's been a lot of events, but not much action. Everyone's taking it easy in the city, even though there's a really strong feeling of tense kind of standoffishness where everyone's trying to figure out each other's power. They're trying to decide how far they can push things, how risky it would be to engage with someone, or how worthy it would be to alliance with someone. Not really your area, but you're starting to get a little bit of a feel for it. That visit with Kale Kate Katen, that was interesting.
Was indeed.
You've secreted the money away in a hidden safe, and your friends and your coterie are still deciding basically what you want to do with it. However,
Absolutely.
this evening, you see something strange. There is a pillar of light in the sky, kind of to your north from here. Just kind of, it's very soft, and it's very kind of like, not really pulsing, but not even flickering. But yeah, it's just landing down to the north somewhere. It seems like from the sky.
Is it like daylight or?
It doesn't look like daylight. It looks more like a weak spotlight, except for in reverse. You know how the light goes up, and this time the light's going down.
Okay. That being said, I will start walking toward, keeping my eye open for anyone else that seems like they may have noticed it. So if there's any passers-by, just to sort of eye them and just see, try and get an impression if it's just me.
Oh yeah, it'd be very obvious if people were like looking up into the sky, like, what the hell's that?
Pretty much.
No one seems to have noticed.
Okay. So that being said, I will take a slightly more cautious route of going like on teetering on the edge of some of the territories as I go through, sort of as much as I can.
Staying out of the known territories and just skirting anything you can. Yeah.
Yeah, main roads and keep it fairly obvious. No attempt to sneak. It's, I assume, fairly early in the night.
Yeah.
And
as you go through, you get out of Flint Bridge up towards Hunter's Walk. Still to the north, does seem to get like slightly larger, like you're getting closer. You get to kind of the edge of Calig's territory, but you can just go along the waterfront. He doesn't lay claim to anything there, as far as you know. Past this point, you guys really haven't explored at all, so could be anything up here. But at the same time, it's become more and more clear to you all that encounters are very tentative. No one's looking to rock the boat because anyone could belong to anyone until you're clear on this, and no one wants a fight that they can't engage in. So while it's still worth being cautious, as long as it's clear that you're not encroaching on territory, then it might be okay.
I would keep an eye out for anyone that seems to pay more notice to me. If anyone were to follow me, for example, I would be walking towards it, but still looking a little bit edgy, just on sort of the realization that I'm on my own still, somewhere I don't know. So eyes peeled, but sticking fairly out in the open, just to make it as least probable for anyone to jump me.
Absolutely. So, as you get closer, you actually see the building that it is coming down on. It appears to be a large cathedral church of some kind. A little bit older, because you're in the older part of the city now, of course. The buildings are a bit more regal, a bit more elderly, I guess is the word.
Okay.
Hunter's Walk has always been a mix of posh and not ancient, more antiquated. The buildings, have that slightly imperial feel, like very much stronger and older. You kind of get the impression, like, when you used to work with the elder Kindred. A bit like that, like you could just feel their experience and it's the same with the buildings up here.
Cool.
But yeah, there's the cathedral basically, or the church indeed, kind of looks out parallel with the river down towards the city. And there's like a fairly large open area in front of it, like a mass of almost like a mini park, I guess, with some benches and things like that. And then you've got the cathedral, and it does kind of seem like the cathedral's pointing its judgment and its like its faith at the city and being like, you know, just keeping an eye on it.
Try and circle the building just once, just to see if any of this light sort of emanates through the windows, if there's any doors that I can hear anything through, just anything that seems out of the ordinary first.
Okay. The light comes down on the cathedral, so you know, there's no kind of light shining out or anything.
Yeah.
And round the back of the cathedral is like a fairly open graveyard, and then it shifts into kind of open countryside past there, and obviously just like up past the river. But it's actually quite a nice graveyard because it's like right on the river, you know, like beautiful, right, like right where the city starts to hit countryside, you know. Then you've just got the river and like a fairly open, I'm gonna say plains because it's England, but you know what I mean. Like it's open countryside and quite beautiful. If you were able to stay till the sun was up, it would probably look fantastic. But as it is, it's nighttime and graveyards are always a little bit creepy at night.
I bet. So while in the graveyard, I'd like to do Sense the Unseen around the graveyard as well as the church, just to maybe see if I'm not alone or see if there's anyone with me from another place, etc.
Sure. I don't believe that's a rouse check, right?
No.
So that'll just be activated. You have a look around. You don't see anything. But then again, you know, quite often people in graveyards, especially, you know, it's more often people who were murdered and thrown away, or, you know, like any of this.
Not a fun place to hang out either.
No. But you know.
Okay. So, was the front door open? Like, was the door ajar, as sometimes is with churches, or?
Yeah. It's
I would try and look inside then.
Okay.
I'd like to approach in a way that I'd be fairly confident people wouldn't watch me approaching, just in case, like, I want to be in a bit edgy as I do it.
Yeah.
Sort of ready to turn and run. To run in.
So you could like look. You could look in a window maybe, or like around the side or the back, but it wouldn't guarantee a good view.
Yeah, I'll go for the front door.
Yeah. You can probably, like, there is some like little patches of grass and garden and a few trees, and there's like a footway that goes up a few steps and then heads into, you know, like has a little length of pathway, then heads in to the church. Okay.
So hat sort of down tilted,
yeah,
covering my face as best as possible. I'll just step up the steps and see what I can see inside.
Okay. Appears to be a mass going on. And looking in, there's like not many people in there. And you realize like the light is specifically, like, as it comes through the building, is specifically on the priest or preacher or whoever who's up on that little kind of, you know, little pulpit area. You know, he's reading out a hymn or a sermon. And it's specifically like concentrated on him. But there are a few people in the pews who are also you know, kind of a little lighter, a little more they stand out a little more, as opposed to like some of them are just dull and washed out, even bathed in this light.
And I assume no one pays me any notice.
No. This is very much a late night, one of those like catch up. Very often it's for people who they don't find the time very often to go to a sermon. And, yeah, nice. Kind of lip service Catholic.
So
probably.
near the back, I'm assuming, as most churches do, there'll be sort of like 2 rows of pillars around the edge, or sort of an architecture as such where I can stand behind something and just sort of try and keep out the way, but see if I can step inside.
Yeah, you can step inside. There's nowhere really to like hide or like
Okay,
shift
so it's
into the
fairly
shadows.
open, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you've got like some cool statues, and you got the the glass, what's it called? Tinted? No, not tinted.
Yeah, stained glass.
Stained glass windows, and
Yeah.
and there's some very impressive imagery. And you can tell, like, just setting foot in this, from the outside, not as clear. Second you get inside, you're like, this is a Catholic church. Because Protestant churches and other like similar denominations tend not to be quite so magisterial. They tend to be a bit more simple. Catholic churches tend to have like more expansive imagery and statuary and etc.
So seeing it's nice and open, I will step inside and take a seat back row, near the corner, fairly near the door.
Okay.
And just listen for a bit and see what the sermon's about.
The let's call him a preacher for the sake of argument right now, because he is preaching. He's going through the kind of standard stuff: love thy neighbor, do unto others. Is picking out. I mean, what's Mack's thought on Catholicism and religion in general? Is he cynical about it, or is he...
So it's an echo from his mum. He's going to pull out his notepad and just try and jot down a few things, like let's say a few of like the things that she would have beaten into him, which sort of love thy neighbor, etc. And he'll just sort of jot that down, underline it, and just sort of attempt to feel a little nostalgic. So,
but he's not really. I guess like he's not cynical about religion.
Not necessarily. It's sort of like these are things you shouldn't do, and that's how it is. Yeah. It's not like he probably hasn't dwelled on it much more than that. It's just sort of these are rules to live by. That's what Mum said.
Yeah.
That's what people do. It's this like the status quo. So, I don't think his mind has probably dwelled much more on afterlives and things like that.
Yeah.
Oddly, for someone that can speak to the dead.
Well, he speaks to a lot of people. Not all of them are dead.
True. True.
Some of them are there, some aren't.
True.
You can, and also like, it isn't uncomfortable as such to watch and observe this. You don't get a feeling of pain. You don't get a feeling of being necessarily unwanted. But it is almost a bit like having a staring contest. Even if you blink and your eyes find it straining to keep watching him. So probably you probably at times like move your eyes around. And
I'd probably like tilt my hat down for a bit in between and just sort of put my hands together and just sort of nod a little bit. Yeah. Also just have a little survey of the people around, see if there's anyone else that stands out particularly, and if not, just continue to listen for a while.
As I said, there's a couple of people who have a little bit of a glow to them, but it's nothing to the intensity of the guy on the pulpit.
Okay.
And like everyone gets up at one point to sing a couple of hymns. Myself personally, I'm not much of a hymn religious person, so I don't know any. But those classic hymns that everyone sings, they sing some of that.
Mack would do what I do, which is mouth the words and sort of hum a little bit. Pretty much.
Yeah. During that time, you notice someone is next to you now. You're in the pew at the back on the left, and there's someone there with the book in hand. But incidentally, it's a book of hymns. It's not a Bible.
Okay.
Because like You probably at some point you like maybe reached out or something, and it wasn't pain when you went near the Bible. It was just kind of like a, I don't feel like I should touch that kind of, like just a bit of like repulsion.
Yeah, like a superstitious paranoia.
Maybe yeah.
Something a little deeper, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
But there is a man standing next to you with a hymn book, and he's doing similar, like kind of like.
I'll if I get a sense he looks towards me, I'll just nod at him and eyes forward.
Do you look at him when you nod, or?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. You recognize him. It's Clay Fraser.
Oh. Ah. Hey, Clay.
Alright, mate.
Yeah, good. Just listening to some preaching. Some good life advice in here.
Oh yeah. Wonderful ways to spend your existence. Oh.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Oh, well, keeping an eye on things up here, making sure no one steps out of line, moves too far. Also, I live up here. Maybe you haven't heard.
No, not yet. You got a little turf mapped out? Anything I need to know about?
Few buildings in the area, as I say. This
Right,
personally,
okay.
not my territory, so
Okay.
keeping my head down.
I see.
Suggest you do the same.
Are you the big cheese in terms of your turf at the mo, or are you working for someone?
Oh no, man, it's just me. I never work for someone, not on a permanent
gotcha.
basis. Like,
I gotcha. So while you're here, that's not bad timing. You heard about this meeting they're looking to organize?
yeah, be interesting. I doubt I'll get an invite though.
Oh, funny you should say that. Would you like an invite?
Sure, I'd love an invite.
You got a number? I know you don't like phones, but
7.
yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Look, once it's organized, I might be able to get you in. Currently working for the guy that's running it, the Malkavian. Kale, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's cool. So,
sure.
At the moment we got a rough date and we got a location set. So, I'm just gonna pick a day, like 2 weeks on Saturday night.
Okay.
And whatever date that is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do it then. It's gonna be Lamia's place, the Oasis. You know it.
Love the Oasis. Lamia doesn't really like me in there, but that might be understandable.
Well, I'm supposed to get as
Big
many as
fight
possible.
when I was in there.
Oh, really?
Just by coincidence.
Really coincidence. Well, this trouble seems to follow you around, my friend.
What can I say?
You're not expecting to cause any trouble at the meeting, are you?
Wouldn't dream of it, my friend. All those powerful people in there, trying to figure out what to do. Where would the fun be?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You, my friend, may have given me an idea.
Wonderful. Happy to help.
Perhaps we should sit down and have a little talk sometime, and maybe if there's some people you don't like, we don't like, we could just run some hypotheticals if they were to break out in a fight, if you know what I mean.
Sounds good to me.
Have you heard of Roman, by the way?
Oh.
Know anything about Roman?
Yeah, I know Roman.
Yeah, what's he like?
Bit of a pussy.
Really?
Out when he was in another territory, in another prince's domain. He was a bit of a bootlicker, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Right, okay, that's good to know. Nice. So what's the word on the street at the moment? You got anything interesting going on around here?
Tit for tat, mate. You tell, I tell.
Sure, okay. Why do you want to know?
What's the deal with those stuck-up Eastern European Russians out in Flintbridge?
Stuck-up Europeans in Flintbridge. Oh, let me look at my notes.
It's the old guard.
The old guard, yeah. I was thinking that. Yeah. Are you familiar with any of those? No.
Not at all. It's what I'm wondering.
Right.
Would you like for the viewers and for yourself, would you like a little refresher?
So my memory of them is that they were trying to keep the ways of the Camarilla going, although they weren't necessarily Camarilla themselves.
They weren't directly associated, but because the Camarilla's not here, they were like, we need to uphold the laws of Camarilla and the masquerade and everything, and that was like their main goal.
How do you feel about the Camarilla? You strike me as maybe a little bit, maybe the other side of the fence.
Hanox?
Maybe.
Wait, or you mean Sabat? Because I'll take offense if you mean Sabat, mate.
I don't mean anything right now.
Well, personally, I don't really like the Camarilla. Lots of rules, lots of regulations, lot of do as I say, not as I do, all that bullshit. However, Anox, a pile of shit. So, because at least the Camarilla, are honest about it. They come at you straight and they go, we're pieces of shit. Whereas the Anox are like, nah, you can be free as long as you do what I say under my terms. If I don't like you, I kill you.
True. Difficult to win, really.
I mean, you know, I don't appreciate the Camarilla for the rules and shit that they put on people, but at least they're honest about it. Whereas the Anox pretend to be free, they pretend that they're different, but they're exactly the fucking same.
True. So, the old guard, they're a little bit more on the Camarilla side. They're looking to maintain a status quo, I guess. Keep things fairly tidy until someone comes back.
All right.
So, that's mine.
Probably also looking for a little piece of the pie. If they keep Camarilla presence there,
I expect so.
They'll be rewarded.
A little bit of bootlicking, maybe.
I don't have anything against bootlickers per se.
There's things that taste worse out there, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
speaking
what's
of
going on
that,
over here?
Well, you know whose territory we're in right now, yeah?
No, but I know I'm in a church. That's about it.
The Blessed.
Oh, really? Who blessed them?
I don't know. I'm currently looking into them, but I haven't met any of them yet.
Do you know anything about them?
They put feelers out to Gorban. That's all I know.
Feelers to Gorban. He's the risky one, right?
Yeah,
You think they're troublemakers?
I don't like him. I wouldn't call him risky necessarily. Bit of a firebrand, bit hot-headed, bit more honest than most of the Anox.
Who do you like then?
I'm not kind of partial to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
You seem alright, you know?
Yeah, you could do worse as a friend. Okay, I'll tell you what. I will say one thing. I don't mean to imply you have a reputation. Yeah, okay, I'll start with one and we'll go from there, but...
Fair enough.
If you're at this meeting, someone does end up killing someone else, fight breaks out, it's gonna be eyeballs on you.
Well, I know how to look after myself.
I bet you do, but still, I'm just saying. If I have any ideas in the meantime, I'll be around. Where would I find you if I were to need to say hello, dropping any news?
No worries, I know where to find you.
You do indeed, but what if I find something really juicy? Give me a street corner or something. Somewhere I can stand and wave my arm and look like an idiot.
Leave word with the carrion.
Leave word with the carrion, great. Okay. Kafka seems to know a lot.
Yeah. He's a good boy,
Fair
that
enough.
one.
That's what he's there for, I guess. Okay. Any Anything else you got or anything else you want to know?
I'm pretty much caught up. You hear about the orgy that's going on between Callig and Talia?
I've heard news about it, yeah. I don't know much on the details, but...
It's not much to tell. Just, two peacocks ruffling their feathers.
Right, okay. What are they fighting over all?
I don't know. But, then neither of them are really committing to it, just making a show really boring. I had better hopes, but, whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Really makes your skin hum, doesn't it? Being in here.
Yeah, there's a little something going on right now. I'm trying to figure it out.
It's not too much to figure.
You do this much?
I find faith interesting. Fascinating.
True.
Putting all your trust in a higher power to make sure everything turns out all right, even though you got no proof, no evidence, no inclination, and yet still putting your existence in their hands.
Much like the Camarilla, you could say.
Much like the Anarchs.
Much like everyone, I guess, yeah.
Shit, even like the Sabbat.
True. Well, it's been fun and good singing.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I don't know the words, but I love to la along.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'll go back to listening for a bit. Just, unless he says anything, just paying attention to the sermon.
Okay. The next time you look, he's gone.
Cool. That's about 8 centimeters down, I'd say. Bet the group are going to be real happy with me. Inviting people to the party. Especially Clay.
Yeah. That's not going to go badly at all.
Write down in my notepad 8 centimeters underlined.
I assume you put the blessed in there too.
Yeah. I'll put down a couple of notes on the blessed.
You didn't really get much about them, but...
No, it's fine. But the blessed are here.
I'll update the map as well for you guys.
Good to know. Good to know. So I'll stay... I'm assuming the sermon won't run forever, so I'll keep listening for a bit, see what happens.
Not much. There's not even like a call for donations or anything. Again, this is like a fairly rich area. Most likely they have other ways of, they don't like send the church plate rounds. They have donors and that type of thing. It's very, very, very big, nice cathedral. And then, the sermon winds down and everyone starts to get up and starts moving out. The preacher, tidies up and heads back into the back of the cathedral.
Does he sort of close the door behind him and sort of he goes off somewhere private?
Oh yeah. He heads off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there are some details on the exit and entrance, technically speaking, of the cathedral, which lists when there are sermons, lists when there are confessionals and baptisms and all that type of thing. Some are on request, some are weekly, some are on the weekend. Obviously, there's a big thing on Sundays.
Okay. Is there an obvious confession booth in here?
Yeah, There's actually 2 or 3.
When's the next session?
Few days. It's they do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for the official. But you can it does mention you can walk in, request a confession during daylight hours.
Seeing that, pondering. Is it everyone leaving, pretty much?
Oh yeah.
My hat's just been glowing in front of me. I'm curious. But what will Mack do? I'm gonna go knock on the door. The one he went through.
Okay. There's a little delay, and then a more plainly dressed, same guy, like, opens the door. Yes?
And am I met by the same?
Oh yeah, and it's more
Uncomfortable guy.
intense. I'd say it's probably almost impossible to keep your eyes on him.
Yeah. In that case, I'll keep my hat down and keep it to one side.
Yeah.
Just to sort of like avoid eye contact.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm new here. I just wanted to introduce myself.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to have you here. Please come back at regular hours and we can have a proper introduction.
No can do. I'm afraid I'm a night worker.
Well, you can always call in or arrange a one-on-one if you need counseling or any of these things really. If you'd like a confessional, if you'd like to confess your sins or anything along those lines.
Yeah, I should probably do that soon.
Has it been a fair while since your last confession?
Oh, God.
Quite.
Yeah. It's been a while. I don't remember the last one, actually.
Oof, that long?
I guess I'm in trouble.
Oh, no. It's, not everyone can find the time to confess, as long as you have still been communing with God, however you can.
Are you new here? I didn't see you before.
Few months, was brought in,
Really? Anything changed around here recently?
Not to my knowledge.
Something's different. Okay. Well, look, if you ain't got time, then I'll bid you good night.
Oh, apologies, I do have to make dinner.
Sure. Fair enough, guys gotta eat, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll be back. I'll swing by sometime.
Of course. Go with God, my child.
Yeah,
and as he says that, like, go with God, there's just slight intensity that makes you not shrink back, but just you feel like you want to.
Yeah, you too. You do that. Okay. I'm gonna go for a stroll out.
Okay.
And since I'm like outside, I just want to like have a look on the posters for his name so I can jot it down.
It is Father McKay.
Father McKay. And I want to start doing a little bit of Googling, check out his Facebook page. I just basically want to get the quick download on the internet of like who he is, where he's from. Most churches have a little blurb about the priest, so I'm hoping I can find something and just try and figure out if there's anything interesting about him.
Seems to be a fairly standard, like there's not a whole load of detail on him. You know, it's obviously the blurb and etc. New father coming to, deliver mass and sermons, etc. He was up in the countryside for a fair while, in a kind of like village. What are they called? I can't remember what the churches in the villages are called.
Okay, like a small village chapel. Or something,
like a small village chapel type thing.
Yeah.
And he was working up there for a while, and there was actually a petition by the village to keep him when he left, because they enjoyed his sermons, and he was very hands-on with the community and all that type of thing. But yeah, as you leave, and I'm assuming you want to make your way back into Flintbridge and the territory of the coterie.
Yeah, I'll probably wait outside for like 5-10 minutes first. I
Okay.
just want to see, like, after the sermon's ended, if the light just stays constant, like if it was anything to do with the sermon, or if it's just seems to be him.
Just seems to be him, yeah.
So after a while, it doesn't settle, in which case I'll ponder to myself and probably start to stroll back.
Yeah, as you're standing out there, it starts to rain. Just like not, it's just like dripping, like very slightly. But it is getting earlier, you know, like the sun will start to come up soonish.
Cool.
So you head back down the road, across the river, past a few territories, but not into any territories that you know of, at least. Interesting meeting. Interesting possible ramifications as well.
Yep.
But for now, you're heading back home to the coterie.
My group are going to be so happy with me.
Yep. But for now, you move away from the cathedral, swallowed by the night. Chrys, so you have been dropped off by Tess, who very kindly took you to just a little bit into the territory of the encroaching wilds. You didn't see any signs of them coming in, but you didn't go in that far. I think Tess did say that, you know, they've seen the car before, so it'll probably be enough of a heads up for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they should have a good idea of you, or at least a little bit. And then she pulled a Yui, screeched off, blazing music. Had your seatbelt on.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Why would I not have my seatbelt on? She's probably not pleased about it, but...
She probably gave you crap for it.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going off to see her mum, so she said she'd give you a lift.
Okay.
And now you're out in the country, like on the outskirts of the city. Like there are a few houses dotted down the road. But it really is the edge of the burbs, as it were.
Okay,
Nighttime, obviously.
Well, I think we're just gonna head generally north, I guess, because that is more towards the garage way, which is where they said they saw them last time on the phone.
True. And you do kind of get the feeling that you're being followed as you kind of step off the road and start heading up a path. Very weirdly, this isn't something that has happened in the other sessions, but roll me a wits insight.
Oh, okay, great.
I think this is the second roll of the sessions.
Oh, jumping right in there with the... Do I get any bonuses?
No.
No. Not great.
You got one success. It was a 10. So, and you can... you know what? I will give you because these are like solo sessions, I'll give you a reroll for the session.
For the whole session?
The whole session.
I think this is probably a good time to use the reroll.
Yeah? Okay.
Maybe. Okay. So, D10.
Is it just because you did badly on a roll you wanted to do well on?
Well, what if it's not them, and what if I get murdered in the
Oh,
woods and nobody knows about it?
It's very true.
It'd be really awkward. So I'll just do 2d10.
That's a crit.
There you
That's
go.
4 successes. Yeah, there's like a snap of a twig. And you just immediately like look around. Do you want to activate your eyes?
No.
Oh, okay.
Could be anyone.
You could see a shape behind a tree, kind of like stepping out from behind the tree.
Hi. Yeah, hi.
Shit. Hey.
There's some twigs on the floor, you know.
Yeah, apparently so. Was not expecting that. Good hearing.
I do have good hearing.
Me too.
And
I heard you, well, I see that you came in here with, what's her name? Pretty.
Tess? She's very pretty.
Yeah, Tess.
Yeah.
Are you looking to walk through, or are you coming to visit?
I'm going to say hi to the wilds.
Look no further. We keep an eye on the roads.
And you are...
Castor Grey.
Oh, hi. Hello, I'm Chrys.
You've heard of him. He was the one who... he was
Sort
the
of
one who
led
was...
them into the meeting.
He was the one who was a wolf, and then was not a wolf, and then led them into the meeting. And you are...
I'm Chrys. I'm Tess's friend.
Chrys, Tess's friend. Lovely to meet you.
It's not my full name, but...
What is your full name?
Well, it's not Tess's friend. That'd be really weird.
True.
So anyway, Tess and Mack said that you guys had been chatting somewhat, and that they were supposed to tell you when they knew of a food thing.
Ah, yes. There was some talk of that.
Have you had any joy with it?
You know, animals. No, yeah, just animals. We don't want to... We had a talk between ourselves and we decided not to do anything and to just hope that we don't make a dent in the population of animals too much.
Might need to sort of let some of them go then.
Some of the animals?
Yeah, so they like repopulate, like rabbits or something, or I don't know. How many are you going through?
Well, rabbit will do maybe a little bit, like, it depends. I mean, if I'm really hungry, even a full deer may not do me. So, depends how hungry we let ourselves get. You know, maybe 3 or 4 rabbits. Like 6 cats.
6 cats.
Depending on the size of the dogs, you know.
Yeah, there was a chihuahua where we were shredded.
They're just so stringy.
So low. Feels mean.
Needs must.
Well.
So you're here to deliver a report or a repayment, as it were.
Well, there is somewhere that folks are going to eat in town. Even though it's kind of disagreeable and gross.
Disagreeable and gross, okay.
Gross,
Is it worse than eating cats and dogs?
in a different way.
In a different way, okay.
But also I have not met another gangrel before today.
Oh, you're a gangrel. With you delivering the information and coming to offer us the repayment, I assumed you were Nosferatu.
Do I look like Nosferatu?
Don't judge a book by its covers.
I mean, usually it's relatively obvious, though.
It is.
Do I have a weirdly sized head?
No, it's fine. It's just usually the Nosferatu are employed as messengers and info brokers and etc. I made an assumption. I apologize. It is wonderful to meet someone of mine own clan.
I don't know if it's wonderful yet, but maybe. I wanted to come out and see what's going on, really, because everyone's so serious and groupy, and they're like, let's talk about our feelings.
So you want to come out here and talk about your feelings? Because
maybe?
I have to say, I'm not really interested.
No. Not really want to talk about feelings. I want to talk about how I'm really not good at it. At how you guys live. I wanna know how it's so different and your gangrelly ways.
Ah, yes, the gangrelly ways. Well, you interested in possibly joining up?
I mean, I really like my group, so I'm interested in working together. You know, we can help you out sometimes, maybe. You can help us out sometimes, maybe. We've already got the information trade if you want to know about the food places in town.
That would be good.
One is, you know, in our territory, so we could have a chat about that.
All right, yeah. Why don't we go have a sit down at one of our little campsites?
That's good.
How fast can you run?
Pretty fast.
And then he just shifts into a wolf,
Okay,
and takes off. So like when he shifts, it's a very quick process, and he kind of like goes very indistinct and very blurred, and you can like kind of vaguely see like his clothes shifting with him. So.
Well, I can't do that. It hardly seems fair.
So this would probably be sprinting, I would say, which would be strength athletics to keep up.
Okie dokie. Oh, other way around. Athletic strength.
Yes.
This confuses me.
Athletic strength. Not bad.
Doing okay.
He does outrun you.
I'm a little bit behind.
You could hear like as he darts through a bush, like, you know, a few trees and that as well. You hear like a bark in the distance. It's coming from him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. In the distance.
But yeah, you can follow along. He's very clearly trying to leave behind a vague trail.
Yeah.
So he does get ahead of you, and by the time you get to him, there's just like a very little controlled fire pit just for a bit of light, which, you know, won't require you to make a Rotrek test, which is fear of fire. If it was like a large fire or out of control, it would. But these small ones are fine. And he's sitting there now in human form again.
Well, I would have a stitch, but I weirdly feel like I should have a stitch.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how do you do that though?
Well, you haven't figured it out yet.
No, I can do claws though.
Useful.
Yeah. Just not the
Useful in
whole...
a fight.
Well, I'm trying not to use them as yet because people think they get a bit dramatic about it. Masquerade-y, you know.
Yeah, well, you don't want to use it in front of a whole load of people who don't know. It's a bit of a giveaway. But then again, so is turning into a wolf. So, you know, it is how it is.
Unless you do it out of sight and then there's just suddenly a wolf.
Also, not 100% the best. Like, if it's at a distance, you know, someone in a car just driving and they're like, oh, what's that? It's, you know, could be a big dog. But if you're sitting in the middle of the street in the city, then it's like, holy shit, there's a wolf, which don't exist in England anymore. Oh,
Could be a cover-up.
incidentally, hope you don't mind. We may have someone turning up momentarily, or in a little bit.
Well, I assumed your group would be turning up.
No, they're all off patrolling and hunting, all that kind of thing. But one of us is in the area, and she was actually here a minute ago. She just popped off.
Well, I mean, who's turning up? I don't know.
I don't believe you've met any of us before, correct?
No, but Tess did.
She did. Did she tell you about Andy?
Did she tell me about?
Very vaguely.
I mean, she told me, you know, you guys' names and you a bit more specific because you guys are chatted, but nothing like she didn't replay every single line of the conversation.
Well,
She's very overview when you get feedback from Tess.
yeah. Well, Andy's fine. She doesn't really like outsiders, but she doesn't really like anyone, so.
Am I good being here? Because Mack was saying something about being eaten last time.
Andy did want to eat them, but it was put to a vote. Actually, no, it wasn't. Actually, Sheepy says, no, it wasn't. It was, because I had instigated the meeting, I had priority over what happened. So, Andy had no say.
Is this going to be a problem? I can go.
If you are bringing news of a place we can find somewhere to get proper drink, it will not be a problem. And I don't think even Andy will want to kill you this time.
Okay.
So have a seat.
Have a sit down.
So, I take it you have more than just to tell us the information. You have something to propose, or...
Yeah. Well, obviously, I've told you a little that there's a couple of places in town where you can go and eat. I haven't really told you about how that works. Also, I've got a bit more information on some of the territories in town.
Interesting.
But, you know, need a little trade going on. I would love to go all whatever that was with the transformy.
You're
That would be cool.
You're interested in learning how to shift.
That's a much better way of describing it than I have not been told how to do that.
Let me take a wild guess and say that you are reasonably new to this existence.
I think that's fair to say.
Let me take another wild guess and guess that you, in general, don't enjoy bartering and making deals.
I'm a gangrel.
Maybe,
I'm grumpy.
maybe it's also your first time trying to do so.
Well, I was gonna ask for more as well.
Okay.
Let me finish the sentences.
Finish up.
Well, obviously you knew that Tess was driving through last time to go somewhere, and I think she might have mentioned who she was
Her
gonna go
mother.
see.
I haven't
Yeah.
told anyone else. Do not fear.
Yeah, if we could like make sure that she's good. Like none of your folks go over that way for anyone at the garage.
Would you? Because I don't think. Oh god, this is so awkward. I don't. I don't think Tess told you that they didn't know where her mum was. Just a general vague direction. It would be a semi obvious guess at the garage, but that would like be confirmation. I'll give you a chance if you don't want to mention it. If you'd like to take it back. Either way, like he'll gloss over like he hasn't noticed.
I don't want to take it back.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. It's fair enough. It is in character.
Yeah, you gave me the chance. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna blow my nose, so hang on. Sorry.
Okay. Bless
I'll
you.
get sniffly. Thanks. There's not hay fever. I think it's just this tree.
Yeah, it's a very tickly tree.
It's running through a few of them.
Well, I can say that we have no interest in expanding that way. And anyone trying to expand that way will have to expand through us, which I think they will find quite difficult.
I imagine so. So I mean, those things. Yeah, I'm not really good at deals. I've been told this before.
How about we make a deal as two groups? I will have to put it to the rest, but I imagine if you have a way of eating... Oh, what's the second way, by the way? You
Similar
said
to
there
the
were
first way.
It's the same place.
No. What's the deal?
Well, if you have a place where we can get food, then we will need permission to cross. And you may need permission to cross through our territories. There is a difference
True.
between crossing just because you want to cross and crossing because... or coming in to parley. So, one of the initial parts of the deal could be guaranteed access and passage. Open borders, if you will.
All the time.
All the time. And I will impart upon you a nice little secret. You can choose to share it with your friends or not.
Well, that's tantalizing, isn't it?
It's nothing massive, but it will probably help. Especially you.
So out of character, open borders is a lot.
It depends, really. Like, it lets them move through. It doesn't let them, like, hunt or do anything in your territory. It just lets them move through the territory. So...
I'm just envisioning them appearing and be like, yeah, we own this now.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing as well. It's like it'll have to be approved. You'll have to go back to the coterie. So like the way
Yeah.
he's saying this is like this is one of the offers we can
yeah.
come to as part of the deal.
I think that like open borders is a lot, but if it was just to come in to Gimlet's to get food and out, then that would be more acceptable. So,
Right,
trying to-
so open borders as long as there is not a nefarious intent, as in we are not coming through to attack your neighbors or anything along those lines.
or us.
Well,
Right.
if we wanted to attack you, we would just attack you.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
The open or closeness of your, however receptive you would be to us, does not really come into play.
Well, fine. Yeah, I think we could probably do that. I'll need to confirm with my rotary.
And I would be happy to assist in your training as to the shifting. Tell me, are you expecting or hoping to shift to wolf? Because I can tell you right now, that's not guaranteed.
I mean, it's pretty badass, but
It's pretty cool. Myself and Eve were extremely lucky that we fit that mold.
like, how often does it not wolf?
All the time. I know some people who do snakes or foxes, badgers,
Oh,
even a pig once.
oh. I don't think I'd want to be a pig.
No, you'd be bacon pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you could shift back right though. So
All depends on your personality, your tendencies, your...
I don't think I'm a pig. I think we'll see, I guess. Be very telling of my personality, maybe.
Hmm.
That's
A
fine.
badger,
You
maybe.
can't guarantee being a wolf. I understand.
No.
Nothing's guaranteed.
As long as you are not upset, I cannot help you with what you change to. I can only show you the way.
I won't be upset with you, but if I turn into a pig, I think it's fair to be upset.
You might have to be upset with yourself.
Yeah. It's just self-reflection. Eat less pork. Well, guess I already do that.
And there's like a stomp of paws. As a like fairly large hyena walks through a bush and out towards the fireside, and then shifts into a small girl. Well, you know, young, fairly short girl, with 6 like buns and pink hair. Ah, Andy. How nice to see you. This is Chrys. She's one of
Hi.
us. Hey. Did something happen? You do not seem in the best of moods. I swallowed a bug, so... And she kind of sits down, like a little bit away from the fire, like just on the edge of it, and like she's got her arms like around her knees, and her head kind of like half buried in there. She's in a grump. Well, I tell you what, I did promise a secret, and I think we should leave Andy to her. Let's leave Andy.
We're not talking about emotion. That's great. Okay.
Yes. And it kind of like stands up and starts like walking off slightly.
Go with him.
Andy, I'll be back later. Please take up my duties for a little while. Watch the road, yeah? And maybe not as the dog. She's like, swallowed a bug. Hyenas are canines.
Still rude.
And Castor, like, basically takes you around through the forest, like over the road, through the forest, around the periphery, and you're talking while this is happening, by the way. So, and like round the edge of the city and down towards the river.
Okay.
So, have you ever tried shifting?
What?
Because you can do the claws, but that's like a reflex. It's like a sneeze almost, right?
I mean, I can make the claws happen. It's not like it's just surprise. Oh, now I have claws.
Yeah, it's a shifting of a small part of your body.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to do is you need to find the switch in the center. You know, it's so difficult to describe. It's instinct, but you have to find it. So for me, I can just sneeze. But maybe you need to figure out how to tickle your nose first, as it were. Does that make any sense?
I feel like yes.
Good.
Yes, it makes sense.
Well, why don't you give it a shot as we're going?
Okay.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, let me go a bit slower if you can. I'll watch this time.
I already have a control on speed, but and
if
he
you
kind
can.
of like shakes himself, and then as he's shaking, he kind of like shrinks and extends, and his clothes and his hair, because he's got like the long dreads and everything, and it kind of shifts color, and he's I believe he was a like silver white wolf, off the top of my head. Which is funny because
so.
White Wolf is the guys who do World of Darkness. But yeah. And they're standing before you. It's like quite a large, bulky, because he's quite a large guy as well.
Okay. Can I do I get the gist that it's the same mass?
Yeah. Give me a wits insight.
Doing loads of rolls.
Yep.
Ooh.
Not bad. And also, along with that, roll me your instinct, which I believe for you is 4d10.
I will trust you.
Yeah, just roll 4d10. You're good. Oof, close.
Can I Oh, I can't re-roll today.
You already used your reroll.
Damn.
But you did get a success on your instinct, and you got 4 successes on your insight. You think you understand, like, it's not about thinking about doing it, it's about kind of disconnecting your mind and letting your... It's like sneezing. You know, you can when you feel the sneeze coming on, you can hold a sneeze, or you can like almost encourage it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm trying to
Yeah.
go.
You don't think you can force it.
Yeah, I think it's working.
And Castor shifts back.
I think I kind of get it, but I just... No.
I wouldn't try like that.
Well,
Just have a stand in the woods for a while, a little bit later, and just wait and have a listen and have a little bit of an explore. You know, mentally speaking.
okay.
Not just exploring the woods.
more of a try.
Who knows? I'm not promising it'll work the first time, but it came to me eventually. I didn't start out being able to wolf. Anyway, here we are.
Here we are in the woods.
In front of the river.
I didn't realize that you guys have this territory so far.
We don't.
Damn. Oh.
But this
Does
is the secret.
anyone?
And he points out in front of him, and you can see that his eyes are like glowing.
Okay. I will also do that.
It's
Eyes of the beast.
It's not a rouse check, so you can just do it.
Okay.
And as your vision lightens and it starts to look, it's much more grayscale, so there's not much color, but there's you can details are much
See a lot
easier.
more,
It becomes very clear. You realize that there are stones going all through this part of the river. They're like big rocks and big kind of some of it is like slabs of concrete or something. It looks like someone has dragged this stuff over here and dumped it in so that they can just cut across this bit of the river.
Oh.
The river's quite large, quite long, but not that deep. And it looks maybe like they've got quite tall pillars, and not pillars, but
Yeah, it's
full
like
pillar
little
type.
stepping stones across the river, but
yeah.
secrety.
Yeah.
I see.
Just in case you want to circumnavigate certain territories and visit, or the other way
Yeah,
around.
I mean, there's a couple in between us.
I can't imagine it's fun traveling by car in that car.
She drives like a
Or-
crazy person.
I mean, that's fun, but regardless.
Well, it would be ridiculous to die in a car.
And also probably quite unlikely. I take it you haven't really tested out your...
Why would I test that?
I don't know. I got a friend to shoot me.
What?
Hmm?
And what?
Ow, with a gun.
What? I know how guns work.
Hmm?
Why? What? But why? Just to see if you die. What if you did die? That would be less than ideal.
I lost a lot of blood, and it hurt like a motherfucker. But then I learned that it doesn't kill you. And
Well,
therefore...
now I know that it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't need to test it.
And therefore, I have experienced physically that feeling. So I don't have any hesitation. If someone has a gun, I can run them. And it doesn't... That natural instinct of fear or worry that you're going to get killed isn't there. You saying if someone pointed a gun at you, you wouldn't be worried?
Well, yeah, because that's sensible.
You're wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah. Because what if she crashes the car? What if I lose a limb? That could happen.
It can happen.
What if...
And Andy lost a limb once. Yeah, to the elbow.
Just glue it back on or something?
No, it just came back after a while. We heal quite well,
I mean, there's healing well, and then there's regrowing a limb.
right?
Are you shitting me?
Would you like to see?
Yeah, a little bit.
What's inside?
But this is more of a... Tash wants to see.
You get the feeling like he might be shitting with you a little bit, but there's some truth in there too.
I feel like if you're not a gecko or whatever, not
Hey.
regrowing a limb.
When you change, maybe you'll change into a gecko. And he slaps you on the back. Roll me. Let's call it insight and protein. So that will be 6d10.
Okay. I'll just type it then. If I could type good. Yikes.
2 successes. Okay. So when he like slaps you on the back, you feel like this underlying instinct of it's like turn round and like defend yourself, like take a swipe. And you feel this kind of like shiver go up your entire body as you feel things like portions of your body start to, you know, change, like almost like your arm dislocates, and there's no pain, but
It's just the sensation of it.
you can hold it back if you like, or you can push for it.
I'm gonna leave it.
As in, you're gonna not push and not stop, or
Let's roll for it.
okay.
Because he said to search for it, so I'm gonna do a D2. 1 is leave it, 2 is push for it. I'm pushing for it.
Pushing for it. All right. Roll me 3d10.
Okay.
Okay. You feel your whole like body shift down and like elongate, and it's like there's a shiver and your limbs move, and you feel the sensation of like hair and like teeth and claws. It is similar to when you instigate the feral claws, the like your hands turning into kind of much more bestial claw-like weapons, but it's over your entire body. And then you are blinking, and Castor's looking down at you, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And I think that's where this scene is actually going to end. Yes. You are in your car after having just dropped Chrys off at the Encroaching Wilds. You pulled a Yui, blazed off. There was probably tire smoke. You know that really cool thing in the movies where you just like, and then it goes like that.
Screeching. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if any of the gangrel will like chase after the car.
Unfortunately,
still want that race.
You don't get it. Oh yeah, you did agree to have that race.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was vaguely mentioned, I would say. I don't think it was a like set agreement. No. Yeah, but you shoot down the road, music blaring, heading to Mom's.
Ooh, gotta pick up a burger before we go there.
You can have stopped at a drive-through on the way, because there's nothing before the garage. Sorry, the double garage.
The double. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I still have like my spare burgers and stuff. Whatever remaining burgers.
Have we explained the meta behind the double garage?
I don't know if we have, but
I don't think it came up. Like, I just mentioned it to you out of like in in conversation, and yeah.
All the Canadians who watch this will definitely know already the the reference, but Double Double makes reference to a way you would have your coffee at Tim Hortons, which is a Canadian chain if you haven't heard of it. But yeah, Double Double. I think it's 2 creams, 2 sugar. I don't drink coffee, so I feel like I'm letting down.
Well, I mean, if you don't get it, you're not supposed to know, really. You know.
I mean, if I had coffee, like if I drank coffee, I'd be all about it. But
I did a search for the most Canadian things that like Canadians knew, like Canadian slang. I was thinking of calling it the loony, or something along those lines.
That's cute.
But it just felt a little bit too on the nose. I was like, I want something that's a reference, but isn't like Canada to you know, everyone. I could call it Zamboni, but you know, it's like, again.
Do you guys not have Zambonis?
I probably do, but it's not like a thing, really.
Today I learned that Zambonis are a known Canadian thing and not a worldwide thing.
I think it's a ice hockey thing, because like ice hockey is a Canadian thing to most people outside of Canada.
Wonder if people in like, I don't know, places in Europe would have that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Double Double is a great name though. I'm a fan.
So you're heading to the Double Double garage.
Got my burgers and I'm ready to see Mom.
And fries.
Oh, and fries. Yes. Probably a milkshake. I just got the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
I've probably put together like a small Pinterest board of things I want to paint, or like old things I've painted and inspiration, you know. So, and probably added stuff with like with gravestone, like stuff for, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know.
I have an idea. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there, I think, because I just a few ideas just popped into my mind. But you get there and pull up. I think probably you'd have like, I don't know. I'm picturing like a fairly vibrant but comfy pink hoodie. You know, like one of those big fluffy pink hoodies. But I'm not sure whether it would be like tracksuit bottoms or like ratty jeans.
I was thinking the ratty jeans, like with no knees kind of thing.
Yeah, the no knees, and maybe like you know what would be cool is I've seen some jeans with like zippers, so you can like spread it, flare out the bottoms of the jeans.
Oh my god, that brings me back, because I'm pretty sure as like a teen I had jeans like that.
Yeah. You want to go with the zipper jeans?
It'd probably be zipper and a little ratty at the same time. Like these are jeans that have been used for painting, you know. So like
frayed on the edges of the zippers and like around the bottom and that kind of thing. Okay.
Oh yeah, easily.
I in sidebar. I love how when we go to Tess, I'm always like fashion. I'm so not a fashion person. So like
Dude, same. Like.
But I'm just like, these things sound cool, so I'll say them.
But it fits, like, you know.
I know how to relax. And
yeah. I mean, she's got. I have some inspiration pictures of things she'd wear out.
Yeah.
That I could definitely share at one point.
Sweet. But it's still, you know, like sometimes you just have to admit the fact that it really doesn't matter what you wear if you look good wearing it. So, you know.
Very true. Very true.
But I assume you rang ahead, so your mom's probably waiting outside the office.
Yeah, I would have pinged her once I got to the encroaching wilds.
And you kind of you step out the car and you know, whoop whoop. It gets the lock.
Hey, still busy? You guys are still going?
Tasala, hey.
Hey, Mom. I brought dinner, really late dinner.
Okay.
Early breakfast.
First up, let's go into the office and eat.
Yeah. good idea.
And she shuffles forward and like picks up the food, but hugs you at the same time. So like you've got the food like in front of you, and she just comes in and hugs you, and then as she pulls away, she takes the food. She's like, "Come on, come on,
It'd be
come
like the biggest mom thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, yup, I'll take it. I'll just follow her in and just kind of plop down on the chair and.
Yeah, and she
Start munching on
she
some
like
fries.
spreads out the burgers and the fries. There's enough for like 3 or 4 people here, but you know, that's 3 or 4 normal people.
Yeah, Mom and I eat a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just kind of lean back and be like, so.
I'm glad you came back so soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, I told you I'd do some work.
I know
Plus-
yeah.
It's nice to be able to hang out here. I miss hanging around cars.
Hmm.
So.
I did see the car that Mr. Winono brought. It was not your type of car, and not mine.
Yeah, no. That car makes me unreasonably upset.
Hmm.
It just... Honestly, I would just scrap it and get a new one. Just...
I considered offering to fix it, but I honestly do not have that many people or time.
Yeah. Honestly, if I end up scrounging up enough cash to get him a new car, I think I will.
Yeah.
But it will be a car that we can work on, not that hunk of junk.
Yes. Yes. Well, anyway, how have you been? How's everything in the city, and how are your friends?
Not bad. I mean, we've been kind of busy all over the place. We checked out this new club called the Oasis. That's kind of cool.
Okay, I think I've heard a couple of people talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hard to get into,
I mean,
I thought.
yeah, well, actually, we were doing a favor for one of our other friends who, had a delivery that needed to go there, and so we ended up taking it for him. And yeah, we ended up actually just being able to chit chat even with the owner, which was cool.
Oh,
She's
nice.
great. Yeah. So, we'll probably head back there, and I don't know. Seems like a nice place to just hang out.
Yeah. Oh, actually, talking about that type of thing reminds me, I completely forgot my motherly duties, and last time you were here, I did not ask about boys.
Mom.
I mean, oh, come on. You know, are you seeing anyone at the moment, or anyone catch your eye? That Cassius boy's quite nice.
A lot. That Cassius boy is a lot. Okay.
Okay.
He's got his own things he needs to deal with. I'm
But
good.
he is quite handsome.
Is he? Cause I don't know. I hate to say this as a friend, but he's kind of forgettable.
Maybe he's just not your type.
I mean, I've been trying to, give him tips on how to dress. So.
But you always knew how to dress.
Trust me, Mom, it's a lot of work trying to get some of them to dress up.
Oh, I know. And you remember times where your dad was like quite literally trousers on his head trying to get changed into something nice.
I guess it's something you learn over time, how to do it better.
Or just beat it into them until they learn.
Yeah. Poor Dad.
I love your father, but there were times I thought maybe giving up on men was the way to go.
I don't blame you, and sometimes I feel the same way. But you know, no, the only thing I've been focusing on has been, you know, well, working with Winnie and, you know, making sure that everything's kind of good over there and kind of getting reestablished myself. So,
well, all work and no play, but it has been a complicated time. So I was tempted to make you roll subterfuge for that slight lie, but I let you go with it because it's partially true.
It's a very white lie.
Yeah.
It's
Inadvertently,
gray.
inadvertently you've been focusing on other things, but yeah.
Yeah. I tried to word it in a way where I'm just like, it's not completely untrue.
I think I get away with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
good.
actually we had a little bit of a bet on our in between all the other players and me as to whether you'd end up being like, I'm gonna go to Lavia.
Damn it. Okay, well, who bet against me? I want to know.
Everyone, including me.
Fuck. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You guys have no faith in you know what? And don't get me wrong, I thought about it.
Yeah.
I was like, what if I just throw this at Sheepy and just be like, I'm just gonna go to Lamia. Like,
I would have rolled with it.
Well, there's always a chance for another one-off.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. Oh. God damn it.
So no one.
No, I mean, so, you know, I'm not sure because I only just met her, but like the owner of the Oasis is kind of cute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Incidentally,
I don't know.
As a sidebar, have you?
I would have been out to my mom, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Like that wouldn't have been a secret.
Well, are
with
we?
Any of my family?
Yeah. And like probably you would be more worried about talking to your mom about it than your dad, because of how your dad is just like very breezy and kind of like, oh cool, nice, you know, not even
Good
like
for you. Like,
not even awkward or weird about it, just kind of like, oh that's nice, and then carry on. Whereas your mom's a bit more nosy, a bit more, you know, interested, and you know that can make things awkward with parents.
Oh yeah, she'll just be like, "What are you doing? How are you?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Any boys?
This is why I had
any girls?
Like, okay,
Any
Mom, I get it.
couples? Ooh, swingers.
No, Mom, I'm past that phase of my life. Okay, like.
But I feel
Who knows? Actually, with Tess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like Tess probably like had that conversation with her folks and probably figured it out like reasonably early.
Yeah. I would say like she would have figured it out. Probably talked to her. Like she probably. Well, I don't know, because her dad left pretty early.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. She probably would have told her dad at one point first, and then her mom.
She like he would have like called, or she would have called him. There'd been like a long phone conversation, and yeah, that would have been. That's pretty. I think that's how it would have gone. Yeah. And it was probably like realized like 15, 16, and then told like 17, 18. You know, like very quickly in between.
Yeah. I feel like my dad would have probably just been like, "Oh, good, finally, you figured it out." Like, good, I won the bet with your mom.
Yeah.
But no, I'd just be like, yeah. I mean, she's, I don't know. I just met her. It's hard to tell, you know. So
Alluring.
Well, you know, she's definitely the first person who's been my type in a while, so but you know, she's a business owner and whatever. I don't want to. She's probably pretty busy, so
Yeah, I mean, there's no rush.
Yeah, I guess not.
And if she's
Anyway.
connected to people you're working with, you'll probably run into her again.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, we were looking into hosting like a little party or something there at one point. So,
Oh. Are you
Yeah.
doing the like setup and decorations and everything? You know.
I was actually gonna help with the guest list a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But I might see if it makes sense if she wants my help, but I feel weird kind of like asking if I can help her with that when it's her establishment, you know?
She might appreciate a fresh set of eyes.
Maybe I could get some art in there. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, if you make anything you really like in here, you know, while you're working here, you can exhibit it in the middle, maybe like a little spinning thing. And
Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll see if she'll want to do that, because that'd be an interesting kind of change.
yeah.
Cool.
Wonderful. And it's like in between all of this conversation and reminiscing and etc. Like the food has been demolished. There's like stray like solo, like semi-bent or eaten French fries, and you know, like maybe like a corner of meat that was just a bit gristly or whatever, which is just in between a little bit of bun that's just been discarded, as you're like, I don't really want to eat this, it's like subpar, I'm just gonna have another burger. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
I get the feeling onion rings as well. That feels
yeah.
like onion rings, burgers, fries, and chicken nuggets. Feels like the mood of this.
So many sauces.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, all the dipping
Pots
sauces.
everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Sour cream and chive, garlic and herb, barbecue. Probably a
sour.
couple of chilies, because you always end up with a couple of chili ones.
Gotta have that.
Yeah.
Gotta have different levels of spice.
Yeah.
I'd probably just lean back and just be like,
Yeah.
I don't think we were hungry, you know? I don't think we were hungry enough.
Well, it wasn't a meal, it was a snack. So,
Yeah.
as you know, late night pick me up.
Yeah.
Some people have a glass of wine. We have a shot of fries and nuggets.
Mm-hmm. Shot of dipping sauce and a couple burgers.
I'll do a shot if you do.
Ooh.
Blind pick.
There's a couple of the spicy ones that
There's
are
a
left.
couple of the spicy ones left.
Yeah?
Put them in a pile, close our eyes.
Yep.
Okie dokie.
Just kind of mix them in and just be like, cheers.
Roll me a d5.
Oh, fuck. Three. Oh!
We both got the barbecue. Very, very sweet.
I love barbecue. Like, out of character, barbecue is
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorites.
I also enjoy the barbecue, but I find like after a few, I need to switch to like tomato sauce or garlic and herb, because otherwise it just gets too sweet and too.
Yeah. You feel the sugar just like pile up.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
So a shot of barbecue sauce. Cheers.
Cheers.
Whoop.
Throw it back. Now I wish we had more fries.
Yeah. Or like
Nah.
some salt or lemon or something, just to take away the
Oh, anything.
so sweet.
Just like take the little bits of salt that are still there and like
Yeah,
lick them
just-
up. Just like, bah. Oh, man.
I've missed this.
Yeah, I miss this too. I miss this with Dad too, you know?
Yeah. But hopefully we'll hear from him soon, see what's going on. And this will all get
Yeah.
finally sorted out.
Yeah.
We always knew this was a possibility. And, you know, it's not your father's fault.
No, he did what he could, and you can only do so much at the end of the day.
And thanks to what he did, we had a lot of good times. And, you know, went all over the world. I never imagined that I'd leave Saskatchewan. Sorry, I picked it randomly out of my head. I don't know where it is or what it is, but, you know, like...
Saskatchewan's very small, so
Yeah.
that is very on point.
Okay.
Like, surprisingly on fucking point. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we traveled all over.
Yeah.
I didn't even think we'd go, you know, to a freaking real safari at one point. That's...
Hong Kong,
Yeah.
Thailand, Philippines.
Fucking Moscow.
Moscow.
Paris was nice the couple times we went.
Yeah, but it's like London. It gets very... It's never as good as you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the portrayal of it is very...
Romantic.
Romantic.
Romanticized.
Very romanticized. And plus, the food poisoning did not help.
Yeah. I don't know how you got the food poisoning from the scallops when I didn't.
Yours were green and bubbly, but maybe that's how they're supposed to be.
Well, it's almost put me off scallops forever, so
Hmm.
I'm still hesitant to try any.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Still eat everything else, so.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Man. Well, once this all blows over, we should take a trip somewhere we've never been.
Or
know?
we should take a trip back to Japan.
Or
Back to the
Japan,
house.
yeah. Would that be safe or wise?
I mean, if your father's able to come back, that means he's settled everything in Japan. So.
That's fair.
And I would love another winter up in the mountains.
Me too. Maybe a spring with the cherry blossoms.
Autumn in Tokyo. You can take one of your cars out for a spin night
Ugh.
around the back roads.
I wonder if some of my old racing buddies would be around.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Be kind of fun to race around, see if they have any new tracks or places that they've driven. Felt like life was simpler back then.
Yeah. Because it was. But how it was back then makes how it is now easier. We had a lot of good times for a long time. And it means
we'll have them again.
Yeah, it means that we know how to get back there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I like that sentiment. I like that outlook. Try to keep that in mind. All right, well, I'm ready to get to work if you are.
Okay. There's a car in the garage set up just for you.
Is it anyone's in particular?
It is a
or-
template for you to do with as you wish. If you want us to find a buyer afterwards, we can. Obviously, you know, it's already been fixed up. Obviously, it was damaged in an accident, and we had to do a complete body overhaul, new license plates, new tires, all those kind of things. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Hmm.
Which is why it's in now and not during the day shift. Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. All right. I'll grab some paints and the spray cans and we'll get to work. I have some ideas of what I want to try out.
Wonderful.
I'll probably pick them up, like, or clean up the table a little bit, like put whatever garbage and stuff in the trash, and go into the main garage and see what I can pick out.
Okay. So give me a moment. There it is. So this is your car. But the one that has been chosen for you. And I'll put it up in the I'll put it up in the recording as well. Okay. There you go.
Ooh.
It's a Rolls.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
That is a very nice car. Okay.
Oh, that is.
Got a Rolls Royce. Okay.
Your mum got a little bit excited.
Just a bit, huh?
And she was like, "Let's get something nice." So it is a convertible Rolls as well.
Oh, sweet.
It's not the best kind. The initial car that I did see is it's called like the Rolls-Royce Phantom.
Oh shit.
And it's like the world's most luxurious car, and it's just a giant. It's like a beautiful looking giant rectangle. It is massive.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe not. As awesome as it does look, because it looks also extremely expensive and like very obvious if someone was to go looking for it. So it'd be hard to fix up after it had a accident.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
Are you gonna sit or are you gonna just stand there? Goddamn cat.
Yeah. So.
Ooh. All right. Well, I'll probably start by. Is it already like sanded down or just like kind of ready to go? Okay.
It's all ready to go. Yeah.
I'll probably start sketching out something onto the car and just kind of figuring out its, what it kind of looks like first, its measurements, where things kind of move, where things are best seen, and
so
yeah.
I have an idea.
Okay.
That I'd like to put to you for the hood, basically.
Ooh, okay.
So my idea for the hood is a young lady with blonde hair.
Oh no.
With her hair like flipped over to the side, and then a pair of clippers starting to go through that side of her hair. But the clippers is a wolf with green eyes, and the clipper bits are the teeth of the wolf, and it's just starting to like shave the head. And she's kind of like she's like doing a through with her own hand, like doing that,
like pulling it back. Yeah. Ooh, I like that for the hood. Yeah.
Or it could be it could be along the side, because you'd get the side shot of it, so it'd be less. You'd see the lady's face less, because she wouldn't be straight on or like slightly to the side. She'd be like a full side profile, but you would get the whole definition of that side of her head and the shave. So it'd be a matter of perspective.
Okay, so how about that on one side? On the other side, it's almost like a little flipped, so it's like a wolf kind of looking forward and almost like a woman's hand kind of combing or like just running through a wolf's mane. And then
Oh, what if she's like running her, you know, like when you pet a dog, like down the ears and down the neck. Like she's just got like part way down the neck as she's petting it, so its ears are like flattened out in kind of like a happy way. But the fingers leave a trail of fire.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wonder if it should be like almost like green fire too.
Green fire's good.
Yeah.
I feel like Tess may be also Fandy, but Tess has a bit of green on the mind.
Just a little.
Yeah.
It's fine. Call me out. And then I want to do like the actual.
Ooh. How about for the hood?
Yeah.
A like really archaic and like ominous looking gravestone with like
That's
the pillar with like the X through, you know, so it's kind of like a cross, except for it's one of those like even crosses, so it's not like usually a cross is like further up, but this is like
almost
like more that kind of cross is more like symmetrical as opposed to like lopsided and that, and so it's as high as it is wide, and the cross bit is in the middle, and then like mixing that up with maybe like Tess's own style, you know, kind of like a lot of bright colors along it, you know, like almost graffiti but not quite. It's more like part of the gravestone, so it's got like orange pink like running up the side of it, and then blue purple running up another side of it, and like the colors like coalesce at the top.
I almost see it as like because I wanted to also put the gravestone on the front, but having it almost, you know, when you wear the color 3D glasses kind of thing, and so when like it's almost like color shifted and the pieces are kind of pulled apart. That's kind of
almost like an old horror movie type of, and like it's supposed to be in 3D. So it's got like the gravestone, and then it's got the back image of a gravestone and another shadow of it.
Yeah. But all in like kind of the different colors, and then making it almost a little bit psychedelic.
Yeah, it looks like it kind of like shifts off into and you could have like a proper backscape on the hood, so it looks like you can fall into the hood, you know, because it's got the gravestone and it's got the shadows, and it's got like maybe like a maybe like a plains desert type feel, like drifting off into like a moon in the backdrop, and there's like a lonely dusty road which the gravestone's in the middle of.
I like that.
I love our minds.
Like a big full like a big full moon too, like almost you know, so it all links together, and then have like a green mist or something, like a green gray mist, like
kind of around the base of the gravestone, and then like kind of just starting to climb up it.
I like that. It's good.
Wow, I want this car.
So this is a cool car.
So we have I mean, let's just call her Lamia, right? We have Lamia shaving the side of her head with with wolf clippers.
Yep.
Then we have someone I'm assuming you don't actually have a lady. It's just like maybe feminine hands.
Yeah, it would be a more feminine hand with like kind of long, really manicured nails.
Like slender and
yeah.
And just like tracing the pet of a wolf down the back of its neck, like sparking up fire as it goes down. And then we have the gravestone with the backdrop, and it kind of looks like you can fall into the hood of the car. Oof, I love it.
Awesome. I'd probably spend most of the night actually working on that. Then.
I was gonna say, if you want to spend some proper time on this, then I won't require a roll for this, because I would like this to happen.
Yeah. Me too.
So yeah, it takes you most of the night. Your mum comes in with like some cocoa at some point, you know, hot chocolate, couple of marshmallows in it, because of course, and like the leftover, like she's gathered up all the fallen soldiers of the fries
Oh.
and put them into like one sleeve, and then they're there too.
Oh.
Now my question is, does Tess do the unthinkable and dip the fries in the hot chocolate?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Absolutely dunks it in the hot chocolate and
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Not
Oh
even
my
thinking
gosh.
about it, just like, it's probably why your mom put them there, because she's like, yeah.
It's like not even a second thought.
And they're all the like leftover fries, you know, the like really bent, crinkly ones, and you know, like
Mm-hmm.
just like a little
Some
bit
of them probably
battered
still
and
have a bit of sauce.
bruised, and
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of sauce on it, but
There's definitely like some barbecue sauce on one of them put into the hot chocolate, and we're like, ugh.
I think this solidifies Tess as the most beautiful travesty in existence.
Oh god, the prettiest trash. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do get the car finished. It comes out how you envisioned it, how your sketches looked, and all those type of things. And you know, when your mom comes in, she's very impressed. Like in different parts of it, you know, you have like very brief conversations because she doesn't want to distract you while you're in the zone and while you're actually like working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she does. It is that kind of like, oh, Tess, are you hungry? And you're like, it's about 2:30, and then just you know, like too engrossed to actually like properly concentrate on anything else. But
ask me in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
But she does come in a lot later, and she's like, getting quite early. You probably need to head back. I was just about to head to bed.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let me just give it a quick once over here. Almost done. I'll just take a step back and kind of walk around the car, see if I had missed any like spots, some glaring kind of pieces that need to be filled in.
No. The way you've done it on the hood is so that it covers the hood to the point where your perception loses the sides, like looking face on. Obviously, if you go to the side slightly, it won't quite have that effect. But if you were driving, you know, and that's coming towards you, it's what you'd see, and that type of thing. And then the sides, you know, they're not connected, but like the paint, the first layer of paint that you put on is the backdrop for the sky. So it kind of it looks a little bit like the sky merges into the sides, and then these are like backdrops with the sky there as well.
Okay.
Honestly, it's very like
I think
dark blue, black, yeah.
Yeah. I think it just needs a finishing coat and it's good to go. But I mean, your guys can do that if they have the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever.
I'll put them on it, and then. Are you wanting me to put this up for someone to buy, or?
You know what? Hold off on it for a second.
Okay.
I either may have a buyer, or I might be able to. It might be good. I might be able to bring it somewhere, but hold off on it for now.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll do a little tag signature kind of at the back wheel as well.
And she's kind of standing there, you know, appraising with like not mum eyes, but with like business eyes. And you can see her like nodding and being like,
if your guys want to add some green underglow lights, and maybe like spruce it up with a couple things that might help, you know, any rims that might fit. I mean, I can send some suggestions, but I also trust, I mean, we've been working together for a while. I trust your vision.
yes, I think I can finish this off.
Okay. But yeah, other than that, yeah.
I do not know where you get your inspiration.
You know, neither do I sometimes, Mom. You know, just kind of pops into my brain.
How, because your mum's quite short, are you much taller than her? I kind of picture Tess as reasonably tall. But,
yeah. I would say Tess is like 5'10", 5'11". Like, she's pretty tall.
Yeah, your mum's quite a bit shorter than that. So when she walks over to you, she like reaches her hands up and brings your head down slightly, and she's like cupping your head in both of her hands, and she's like, Tasala Yoshinobu, you are my beautiful little artist, and she plants a kiss on your forehead.
Mom, I love you.
And now you need to head back and go to sleep because you are dead on your feet.
Yeah. Yep. You know,
So-
sometimes you're super accurate, Mom.
Here's some coffee,
Thank you.
drink it, and get back home.
Okay.
And she gives you a hug.
Yeah.
Well, you're like, oh, thank you, and you're like bringing the coffee
Like
mug,
that.
and she like slips in underneath and like gives you a hug.
Just hug her back, and she's like, I'll be back soon to make another one that should be a little bit easier to sell, I think.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Mom.
Anytime.
You're the best. And thank you for letting me come by and work.
Thank you for dinner.
Of course. Anytime.
Or
Really.
first breakfast.
First breakfast. Yeah. I'll just kind of raise the coffee and go back out to the car. And start it up. How late is it? Like, or early?
It's like you're about an hour, half an hour off dawn. What
I'm
are
going
you-
to the Oasis.
You're going to the Oasis?
I'm just gonna drive to the Oasis real quick. I'm stopping in. I'm gonna be like 2 seconds, and I'm still in like the ratty clothes and stuff. I'll dress it up a little.
Yeah, they're closed, as in like they've kicked everyone out. It's, you know, but there are still people working there. So you get to the door, and one of the bouncers like opens the door to be like, sorry, but, and then they're like, Miss Tess, we were told
Wow, you remember
to
me?
let you in. Well, I can only guess by the description I was given that you are.
Even in these clothes? Wow. Well, I will tell Lamia. Thank you. Thanks.
Dude, yes, come in.
Thank you.
And you like step in. It's like very faint music, but you know, very, you know, it's just kind of closing up music, something to put on while everyone's like tidying up and everything. There's bar staff going around picking up drinks and whatnot.
Is Lamia here?
Would you like me to go check?
Could you? I just have a really quick question for her regarding a future event.
Of course. And like, goes up to the office, knocks on it. Comes back down. I'm afraid I don't think she is.
Crap.
Would you like me to take a message?
Yeah, you know what? Just say Tess swung by. With an offer for an art installation for the event that we discussed previously.
Of course, miss.
And with potential for buying as well for whoever would be interested.
Noted. I will
Great.
tell her when she returns.
Oh, she's out?
I believe so.
Oh. Well, all right. Sounds good. I'm just gonna take one of the maraschino cherries off the bar and just be like, we'll see you later.
Of course, miss. Have a good evening.
And I'll walk out and
Drive
back. A little disappointed,
Mm.
but still, I'll leave that at that.
Okay, you get back to to Winono's Haven. There have been some conversations recently about maybe opening up something a bit more public between the coterie. So I'm sure you will talk more with them about that soon.
Okay, interesting.
And you head to your room, get your head down, and feeling more at peace than usual, you head to sleep.
Good. Nice.
And
I swear to fuck, if you make her dream, Sheepy, you son of a bitch.
at the outside of the city, a young lady steps out of a car. She has a really snazzy kind of skirt and suit on. She has a little umbrella, very dainty. She has like these like frilly finger glove type things as well, and she looks like an older, more grown-up version of Celine. Bit more European, bit more, in terms of dress and everything. A bit more like very high fashion. I think you know who this is, right?
I have a feeling.
As Leah comes home.
Fuck!